Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's video is sponsored by Bokksu. Bokksu is a monthly subscription service that brings premium Japanese snacks and teas right to your doorstep. It's a wonderful way to learn about Japanese culture, particularly during these times when we're not doing a lot of traveling. A little bit of Japan comes right to your doorstep. So Bokksu is the only company that partners with 100-plus-year-old family-run companies that make snacks so that you can get a really genuine and authentic experience. So each Bokksu features a new theme and a gourmet journey through Japan. So this is an example of the Seasons of Japan Bokksu. So it gives you a little bit of cultural background along with the accompanied seasonal snacks. So it's understood when you travel in Japan, you bring back omiyage, which are little souvenirs, little gifts or snacks or treats that you give your coworkers, your friends, your family of the area you just visited. It's to say that you were thinking of them, but it's also this kind of obligation. But it's a wonderful way also to learn and taste about the hyper-regional treats of an area. So here's examples of some treats: strawberries, yuzu sake candy, a little bit of green tea. These were our favorites. These are the uni senbei. They have a wonderful briny marine flavor to them without being overly fishy. Absolutely scrumptious. So many treats. Here's some soybean senbei, hanami dango. Bokksu also reminds me a lot of the country tasting videos I used to do when lovelies used to send me treats from all over around the world. It's just a joy to unbox everything and then to get a little taste of all these special treats. So much fun, and it would make the perfect holiday gift. So Bokksu is hosting a giveaway called Tickets to Japan, and anyone subscribed before December 31st is automatically entered. So if you purchase this as a gift, the gift receiver is automatically entered. Yay! So if you'd like to try Bokksu for yourself, click the link down below and use my code to receive $20 off your subscription. Big thanks to Bokksu for sponsoring this video. So today I'm attempting to make something that I had for the first time when I went to Hawaii 3 years ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since. I am going to be making mochi brownies. So traditionally, mochi is made from glutinous or sticky rice that is steamed and then pounded into this really stretchy, pliant dough. It can be served plain, it can be added to soups, or it can be filled with something sweet. We are going to be doing a non-traditional version of mochi by filling it with brownies. Now, the one that I tasted at Two Ladies Kitchen has a beautiful hot pink mochi exterior with a beautiful chocolate brownie in the center. Sounds perfect, right? Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need are some brownies, and I love me a good brownie, and I like trying new recipes. So I tried King Arthur Flour's brownie recipe because it got rave reviews and it came together very quickly. It wasn't really fussy in its instructions, and when you're baking at 10 o'clock at night, I like that. So I will put a link down below to the original recipe. So to make the brownies, in a large bowl, you're going to combine your eggs, cocoa powder, your salt, baking powder, espresso powder. You can skip this if you like, but I really recommend it. I feel like it makes chocolatier things taste chocolatier. I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's true. Then you're going to add your vanilla and beat that all together on medium speed for about a minute or until everything is nicely incorporated. In a small saucepan, you're going to combine your butter and your sugar, and you're going to put this on a medium-low heat until your butter is completely melted. Really stir this together. We want to melt the sugar into the butter, and the recipe recommends getting it up to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your butter is melted and the sugar is combined, we're going to add this to the chocolate egg mixture. Next, we're going to add our flour and then fold in our chocolate chips. Then pour this into a buttered 9 by 13 inch pan and bake at 350 degrees for about 28 to 32 minutes. The way you check and see if the brownies are done is you take a toothpick and kind of flick up the top layer and see if you can see any crumbs. If it's fudgy and raw looking, continue baking it. You don't want to overbake your brownies. Once your brownies are done, take them out of the oven and immediately take a butter knife and go around the perimeter of the brownie. The recipe recommends doing this so we can avoid a big slump in the middle of our brownies. So allow them to cool a bit before serving. I did this last night because it's important to have a fully cooled brownie before we attempt to wrap the mochi around them. Now we're ready to make the mochi portion. By the way, this recipe is the same recipe that I used in my Mochi Brownie recipe, and it was inspired by cooking with dog. Again, I'll put links down below. First, we're going to add our mochiko, or our mochi flour. This is sweet glutinous rice flour, specifically from mochi making. I like Koto Farms. Again, I'll put links down below. Next, we're going to add some sugar. Whisk that together. And now we're going to add water. So we're going to mix this before we even cook it. Now I'm going to be cooking this in the microwave. If you don't have a microwave, you can also do this over a pot of steaming water. So this is kind of a shortcut method because we're using rice flour. Traditionally, you would make this using cooked sticky rice that would be mashed and pounded. And if you haven't seen how that's done, I'll put a link down below to my mochi maker, which is pretty amazing. It steams the rice and pounds it. So now I'm going to take some water on a pastry brush and I'm going to wash down the sides of the bowl so that I don't have any flour on the sides. Now we're going to take some plastic wrap and lightly cover it, not too tight. Alrighty, so now we're going to pop this into a 600-watt microwave for 2 minutes. If the wattage of your microwave is higher, then reduce the power accordingly. Now I had a bit of a brain fart and I forgot to add a little bit of pink food coloring. We want to make this nice and hot pink, but I think I can still add it at this step. Deep pink, one little squirt and see how that goes. So this is actually not solidified, so I think I'm okay. This should be a lot more solid. So I am going to microwave this again. So I'm back and I put the power level at 7 for 1 minute. Let's see how it looks. All right, that looks much better. See how it's like a dough? That's what we're looking for. Alrighty, so give this a stir, but it's still a little bit opaque. Do you see that? So we need to cook it a little bit longer, but give it a good mash and mix to incorporate the parts that are cooked with the parts that are not. We're going to cover it again and microwave it for 1 more minute. And now we're going to use a wooden spatula that's been dampened with some water. Oh yeah, look how bouncy that is. Look how delightful that is. It's like pink bubble gum. We're going to mush this around to build up the kind of elasticness. I've got a rimmed baking tray that is dusted with a bunch of potato starch. And I'm gonna dump our sticky mochi right onto that. Kind of form this into a log. And we're gonna cut this into 9 pieces. Can shape each mochi into a little ball. Look at that. Look how stinking cute. Here are my finished brownies, and I thought it would be a good idea to line it with some parchment paper so that I could remove the brownies very easily, like this. But what I noticed while baking, my brownie paper inadvertently folded onto my finished brownies, and then I had to peel it back. So this part of my brownie doesn't have that beautiful flaky crusty top that is a signature, in my opinion, to a good brownie. Now I'm going to take my spatula and cut these into little bite-sized bits. I would say about 1 inch square. King Arthur flour has never steered me wrong. Every single recipe I've tried of theirs has been delicious. So I don't see why their brownie recipe would be any different. I just cut up some squares there. That is 18 squares of brownie. Look at that. That's a beautiful chunk of brownie. I used a combination of different types of chips. I used milk chocolate, semi-sweet, and dark because... So here's the age-old question. Are you an edge brownie person or are you a center brownie person? I personally like a little bit of edge. I like a little bit of that kind of chewiness that happens. Like, I don't like burnt. I like a little chew, you know? Like this. I mean, here we go. Before we do, yeah. So good. Rich and buttery, which is essential, in my opinion, to a brownie. Chock full of chocolate chips, so you get that nice kind of crunch of chocolate chips. The brownie itself is chocolatey without being over fudgy or too cake-like. I feel like it's a perfect balance of cakey kind of fudginess. On the edges, it's slightly chewy. Delicious. I think this is like the perfect portion of a brownie too, like a 1 inch little cube It's aesthetically pleasing because it's so symmetrical and square, but it also is just enough sweetness where you're like, okay, I got my fix. Phenomenal. Like, cut like that, they look like little truffles of fudge or something, but they're delicious brownie bits. So now we're going to take our brownie square and kind of round it out a little bit on the top because we want our mochi to be round, but we don't want to squish the brownie, right? Take a piece of our mochi, dust off any excess potato starch, take my brownie, and then pull the mochi around it. So I think my mochi pieces are a little bit small. I'm going to combine them together so that I have better coverage. That's my first one. You can still see the brownie beneath it a little bit. So I'm going to combine two of these mochi pieces together. So now we're just going to draw up the sides around the brownie. Ah, yeah, that's better. So for this batch of mochi, we're actually going to make about 5 of these rather than 10. Ta-da! So stinking cute. Yay! My own homemade brownie mochis. Alrighty, I'm going to continue making these and then we're going to give these a little taste. Alrighty, my lovelies, here are my finished mochi brownies. Aren't they stinking cute? It's like Kirby, but mochi. So let's go ahead and taste one of these. Ah, that turned out great. I'm so happy with how that turned out. Oops, so cute. All surrounded in pink and squishy, 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 squishy. Alrighty, let's give this a taste. Itadakimasu. So great. You get the chewy mochi on the outside, which is simultaneously tender yet chewy, and in the middle you've got that delightful buttery rich chocolatey brownie in the middle. So good. So besides tasting absolutely delicious, I think what this recipe really has got going for it is that contrast of textures. You've got that chewy yet supple exterior of mochi, and then inside you've got that buttery, rich brownie center. So stinking good! An absolutely phenomenal, non-traditional take on mochi. The brownies can be kept about 5 days at room temperature in a sealed container, but mochi really should be eaten the day of making. They taste best fresh, and I highly recommend you try them because this combination is stellar. Alright, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to Bokksu for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to try Bokksu for yourself, click the link down below and use my code to receive $20 off your subscription. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Every day should be mochi day.